Hello, AP Academy participants. You may have heard this quote already. It's an African proverb. Not sure what part of Africa or what country or tribe it may have originated from, but it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And today I really want to focus on that concept and to finish my quick intro with a story today and to kind of give you guys an update on where we are with the design process. Remember that we are designing a process for inclusive innovation. We're trying to weave together developers, the community, and researchers, which is you and your staff and teachers and students and parents and other community members. Any folks in the DO, like Audrey and myself, who can help you out. The process of connecting and committing is we've already done. And the next few months will take you into the inquire, investigate, and design develop stages. And before you get into the implementation and iteration stage, and then the sustain and scale stage we talked about is going to be more for probably the summer of the next year and things like that, right? Just beyond the scope of what we'll be doing this year. Well, we've talked about our 5 phases, being sure we're really focused on those equity first practices of engagement with our community, building the capacity of others as we do this work, having time to reflect ourselves and giving our groups and our teams time to reflect, and also recognizing the teams and the folks who are part of this to really support this process of building and growing. Sort of a different way of maybe planning and doing things we've done in the past. We've already done the connected commit days technically, although our work of connected committing never completely wraps up. You've shared your how might we statements. I gave you some feedback on those. I think they're looking really good. Hopefully you've got your team and a consensus on the challenge you're going for. This next stage is really all about inquiring and investigating. We're not jumping into action yet. I know this is hard. This is the whole go together, go far idea. What we want to do now is turn the empathy interviews that you've done with people loose on the people that you interviewed them on. So now getting them to take one of the empathy interview documents or another way of doing it, it's totally up to you as well. And going from there to have them talk to more people to extend the reach of this idea and get in people's minds and hearts and figure out what's in there and what they really want. That's kind of what I've been talking about, a landscape scan, seeing what's out there, even doing some research if you and your team need to try to find some other ideas and activities that are out there in the world that may be related to what you're doing. This is what we're doing in this stage. Might take you this month, might take you a little bit more. Some people want to, knock this out and keep rolling, totally fine. But what your outputs are going to be for this one is to just have a place where you've compiled your research with your team. It doesn't have to be amazing, detailed stuff necessarily, just a place for you to do that. And then really a plan of action, kind of based on your vision with some targeted outcomes. That's really what we're looking for at the end of this stage. I'm going to also explain the third stage, which is design and develop. If your team wants to continue on down the road before the end of the calendar year. This design and develop stage, their key activities are really all about ideation and getting your team together to think of all the creative ways that could help you to meet what it is you're trying to do based on your how might we statement. This is more of scheming and brainstorming, and then taking some of those ideas and really choosing the ones as a team that you feel like you really want to give a try. And this is where you start to do prototypes. This is very low-fi prototypes, which means prototypes that are not super complicated, that don't take multiple days to plan and pull off. It's just a little thing you're trying, and then you're going to get that feedback and that data from it, from the people that are experiencing it, and see what works and what doesn't work. And I told you earlier I was going to tell you a story. My story is this. There was a person I was talking to not too long ago in the district who spent literally months and months of their time and the time of other people preparing an event for an evening that was going to be completely amazing. There were signs, there were gift baskets for presenters, there was a clear schedule, there was just so much ado had been put into this event. It was going to be amazing. And the weather was bad and hardly anybody came. There was like 10% of the folks they expected to come actually came. Spending that much time pulling off something that had that little of an effect is why we're trying to do this design and develop, because of the fact that if we plan a bunch of things and then try to pull something off and it doesn't scratch where it itches, then we've missed the point. And so it's very important for us to do this work, even though it's very tricky sometimes to slow it down to think about doing it this different way. It's really an important thing for us to do. The last thing I want to share with you is just the resources available to you. And of course, myself and Audrey are here to help you at any point to be a part of your team and discussions for ideation or anything you need. In the second folder for Inquire and Investigate, you have the empathy maps and the empathy guide listed again from the first one. And a nice document here of some ideas. I would say use pages 20 and following, as it says in the title. This is a sort of a different framework of design. But starting on page 20 and below, it talks about a lot of very nice mindsets that are very helpful for the design process. So feel free to check that out in the second folder. And then going back to the third folder for design and develop stage, there is, again, another larger document that gives you some ideas for ideation, starting on page 41. And then if you have maybe a quick way to run a brainstorm, if you want a quick session on looking into what that might be, there's a little one-pager right there to help you out. Should be some good tips and good ideas for you and your team as you brainstorm. But again, I'd love to be part of that brainstorm session. I can help you facilitate it. I'll give you some perspectives before, during, and after. And that, my friends, is all the resources available to you. So to close, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. There really is power in being in touch, like Dr. David said last night, and being in tune with your people, knowing who you're working with and working for. There's power in reflection, moving honestly with a team and learning to grow them and develop them as a powerful tool. We hope that you guys will continue to move through this process well, and let us know if we can help you in any way.